Okay, we're going to look at graphing systems here. We're going to, this is nothing different than we've already been doing. We're just combining two inequalities on the same graph. So nothing has changed. We're still looking at our dotted line, our solid line, shading above and shading below. But we're going to do it one at a time. So let's look at the first one. Y is less than or equal to negative x plus 7. So I'm looking here. Remember, I can pretend that there's a 1 in front of the x, which is going to give me a negative 1x. So in this case, my m is negative 1 or negative 1 over 1. And my b is 7. Okay, so my m is negative 1, my b is 7. I always graph my b first because b comes before m in the alphabet. That's one way to remember. So I'm going to graph my b first. So 7. My b is at 7 right here. Okay. And my slope is negative 1 over 1. So I'm going to go down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. All the way down, and I can go up 1 to the left 1. Okay, so there's my line. Now I'm going to look back, and I'm going to look at my sign, and in this case my sign is less than or equal to, and since it has the equal to, it's going to be a solid line. So I can go ahead and make my solid line through my graph. And again, it's less than or equal to, which tells me, if I look back up here, less than or equal to is right here, and it tells me I'm going to shade below the line. So below, in this case, is all of this here. All the way up to the line, and I'm shading below. Okay. Now, the first one's done. Okay, now I'm going to look at the other one. This one says y is greater than negative 3x plus 1. So again, my m here is negative 3 or negative 3 over 1. And my b is 1. So I'm always going to graph my b first. And in this case, my b is 1. So my b is here. Okay. And my slope is negative 3. So I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3 over 1. Down 1, 2, 3 over 1. 1, 2, 3 over 1. And I can go up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. Okay. Now, this is less than. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is greater than. There is no equal to in there. So I am, it's right here, I am going to make a dotted line through my graph. Okay, dotted line through my green graph. And it says greater than. So now I'm going to shade above the line, which would be right in here. So I'm going to shade all the way above the line. Because if this was on a graph by itself, I would shade all of this space above the line. Okay. Now, the question is, what makes this a system? Well, there's a region of the line, and let's look at making that, we'll do orange. Let's see if this shows up. There's a region of the line that has both shadings involved. And that region comes right through here. Okay. So I'm going to just shade that in a little bit darker so I know that is the answer. That shaded region that's in the orange. Now, you're not going to highlight it like that we're not going to outline it. I just wanted to show you what it is. But if I were to pick a point anywhere in that region, it would be true for both of my inequalities. So that's the difference. My point that I choose must be within the region to make both of my inequalities true. If I picked a point up here to see if it was a solution, it's only going to be true for the green inequality. Same with over here. If I pick a point over here, it's only going to be true for the purple inequality. It has to be one within the region that both colors cross each other. Okay, let's look at the next one. All right. The first one's done for us. And this one is only one variable, x is less than or equal to -7. We know from last week that whenever there's an x is greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, we know that the line is going to cross the x-axis, and in this case, it's going to cross at -7, which is right here. And it is a solid line because it is less than or equal to all the way through. And it's less than, so we are going to shade, remember with x's, it's either to the left or to the right of the line, not above or below, because we don't have above or below with the x variable. So we're going to shade over here, less than. Okay, that one's done. Now, the next one, we have to solve a little bit. We need to move our x over, so we're going to subtract x from both sides. And we get 7y is less than -x minus 42. Now we're going to divide everything by 7 to get y by itself. And we get y is less than -17x minus 6. Okay. So here we're going to pull out our m and our b. And in this case, my m is -1/7. And my b is -6. Again, I'm going to show you where those came from. My m came from here. And my b came from here. And I always graph my b first. So my b is at -6 on the y-axis right here. And my slope is -1/7. I'm going to go down 1/7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or I can go up 1/7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And then in this case, my inequality does not have an equal to sign, so it is going to be dotted. So I'm going to go back and dot my line. It's going to be a little tricky. All the way through. And it is less than, so I am going to shade below the line here. Below. Okay. So now I have two colors on my grid, green and purple, but I want to know where the inequality would be true. And that would be just here in this space where the two colors overlap each other. So in order to determine that, I can pick a point. And again, you can always check yourself, pick a point. And if that point that you chose fits both inequalities, then the answer is true. So let's just do that really quickly. So this point I've chosen is -9, -9. Okay, if I substitute -9, x is less than -7. If I substitute -9 in for x, I get -9 is less than -7. That is true. If I plug it into my inequality, -9 plus 7 times -9 is less than -42. I get -9 minus 60. Oh, I just lost track. Minus 63 is less than -42. And here I get -72 is less than -42. And that is also true. So that point does make both of my inequalities true. Okay, we are going to skip this section here. I'm going to do one more with you. And you're going to do the other two on your own. So let's look at the first one. Y is greater than or equal to 2. So when it is y, it's going to cross the y-axis at 2. My sign does have the equal to in it, so it is going to be solid. And it says that it's greater than, so I am going to shade above the line. Okay. Then I have x is less than -3. Let's do this in green since that's what we've been doing. So x is less than -3. I'm going to go to -3 on my x-axis. And it's less than, there is no equal to, so it is a dotted line. And for less than, I am going to shade to the left. Okay. And now I just want to point out the area that they overlap. I'm going to just shade that darker or a different color so I know where the solution lies. And then the last part of this says pick one point that is a solution to the system. And I can pick any point in that orange region, so right there, and it is true to the system. And this point would be -4, 4. So my answer here would be -4, 4. That would be a point that is a solution to the system. Go ahead and try 5 and 6, and we'll look at 6 together next time we come together and see what the difference is, because it's going to be a difficult one to find a solution to. A little hint right there. Okay, go ahead and try those and then turn this in and continue on to the practice problems.